Try not to cream your jeans. The Mythkeepers are here. Hello, and welcome to Mythkeepers. We are your hosts. I am Scott, and joining me as always, he's been looking for lentils in all the wrong places. It's Zachy boy.
Hey yo.
Can you find them lentils, bud?
No, but I can cream my jeans.
You can't cream. Okay, well, 1 for 2 ain't bad. Certainly better than your other average.
Yeah. Batting below the Mendoza line.
Hell yeah. And if you want to know what the hell we're talking about, go join the Patreon.
Go join the Patreon.
Exclusive content of Zach making a fool of himself and proving once and for all that he's not a baseball fan.
Yeah. But you know, it's funny though, because like what listeners are finding us through A Court of Thorns and Roses who actually give a fuck about that.
Baseball.
That's not a very good sell on joining the Patreon.
It's the most random, obscure thing. Listen, if you think I'm here to legitimately like make an actual real plug, then I don't know what to tell you. You do the real plugs around here, bud.
Speaking of joining the Patreon, this is the first time we've gotten the honor and the privilege to do this. Look, for everybody listening and watching out there, we have recently rebranded our podcast from the We Don't Want a Podcast to Mythkeepers. And Scott and I do this for fun. We have a ton of fun doing this with all of you guys and talking about bullshit, doing a little circle jerk, double Dutch rudder type of thing. And we're a small podcast. We're just laying down our foundations doing this for y'all. And we just want to say we appreciate you guys so much for your support. And we get to do this for the very first time and say thank you to our patrons, Andrea, Emma, Kristen, Sarah, and Hannah. We love you guys so much. And you guys just bring us so much joy for interacting and supporting and choosing to just say, hey, I'm going to support these two fuckwit dipshits talking about fantasy stuff. It means the world to us, and we hope that we're able to give you guys everything you want and more. So if you guys would like to go hit up the Patreon and join that, you can find us at patreon.com/mythkeepers, where you get exclusive shout-outs just like this, as well as a peek before the episode. Scott and I chat for sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. We catch up on what we're doing. Sometimes we play a little game or do a little circle jerk. We're a big fan of circle jerking around here. And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Mythkeepers.
And if you can't support and you just want to listen, we appreciate the hell out of that too. If you just want to listen to the podcast, interact on the Discord, or watch it on YouTube, we appreciate you as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, thank you guys.
Just not as much as let me find the list here. Let's look at Andrea, Emma, Kristen, Sarah, and Hannah. We love you way more, just so you know.
Yeah. Also, super shouts out to Hannah. Hannah is consistently hitting us with hard-hitting questions, very thoughtful insight. She's and just super interactive.
Engaged and interactive. Hell yeah.
Very engaged, but also she challenges us in all the right ways, and we love it so much. So that's just super cool. And we love that kind of shit.
All.
Of course. Yes. And the last plug before we jump into our A Court of Thorns and Roses discussion. We got some new shit, guys. Check this out.
Oh, hell yeah.
Check that out. Got the Mythkeepers hoodie with the design. I'm not going to stand up, but it's got the design on the back. You can see that on our website at mythkeeperspod.com. We love this new logo with the owl and the book.
Mine should be here very soon. I'll probably be wearing it next episode.
We got some daddy hatties. Check this out. If you guys are a fan of dad hats, we got the Mythkeepers daddy hattie. I got mine in spruce green. It's a very nice color.
Yeah, I wanted to get the spruce green real bad, but I couldn't copy you and get what you got, so I had to get the navy.
I mean, hey, dude, the navy. I'm sure is gonna look great
it looks pretty sick too.
But yeah, look, hey, that's enough of the plugs. If you guys want to support, go do that thing. Let's talk about A Court of Thorns and Roses. Chapters 29 through 38. We are nearing the end, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely we are in like the final act. Like the final act has started for sure in these chapters. Yeah, this where we last left off, she had gotten back home. She had arrived back home. Tam's glamour was in place. The family was like super rich and crazy taken care of. But there was some mysteries. There was some Nesta acting strange afootness that we were very keen to pick up on and find out more, Zach. And that's kind of one of the first things that I guess it's not here in chapter 29. I think it's the next one, but
one of our patrons, Scott, Sarah, from I can't remember now if it's from, I think it's the UK or maybe Australia. I think she's from Australia.
Someone's from Australia that's a patron. Might be her, yeah.
She'll be very proud of you for using keen in a sentence.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. She said keen in the Discord the other day, and I was like, man, we got to get better at using cool words like this in America. Been keen on it.
I watch several Australian YouTubers, and I'm like, they talk cool. Like, I'm keen on the way they use words.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, so lots of cool stuff gets unraveled a little bit here. In like all of these chapters, Scott.
Here's the thing. We will probably, I feel like this, I'm going to jinx us here, but I feel like this will probably not be our longest podcast episode.
Because now that you said that.
I know, for sure. There's one huge like lore dump chapter, but the rest of this I feel like we'll be able to get through relatively quickly because there's a decent amount of action. And you can't talk about action, as thoroughly as I feel like other stuff we do.
Right.
So, to start chapter 29, Nesta's still acting super weird. Elaine tells Feyre that she went to see her while she was gone, but the carriage broke down and she didn't make it.
No. Elaine tells Feyre that Nesta went to go see her.
Yes, that's what I meant. I just didn't make that clear.
Yeah, Feyre is also now rich as fuck. Yeah,
they're super hella rich.
Loaded.
Like Tam went way above and beyond. This is where I'm not going to try and take too much credit for this, but I did write in my notes here at the beginning of chapter 29, I think she can see through the glamour, meaning Nesta. And it turns out pretty much exactly.
Turns out she can. Yeah, dude. That was kind of a bomb. We speculated about some things last episode.
We did.
But yeah, man, I've done a major 180 on what I think about Nesta.
Dude, Nesta goated actually? Question mark?
Dude,
can that be the title of this episode?
Yeah. Kudos and credit. I'm gonna give you your flowers.
Thank you.
Caught on to this like in the second chapter. You're like, I think there's more to her.
Yep.
I was
gonna bring it up in case you didn't, but I appreciate you recognizing this.
No. I gotta recognize Nessa is very interesting. The thing is like early on, I was abiding by what the books are giving us. Like,
sure.
hey, this is a character you're meant to feel like not super into. Like she's kind of a bitch. She's kind of standoffish. And I was just kind of like letting the book do its thing.
Sure.
But yeah, when you have a powerful a powerful personality next to your main protagonist, they're likely going to come back in some way, shape, or form. Like that. So yeah, I'm glad to see her come back in the way that she has, and it's been very interesting. I want to know more.
This made me so happy. The Nesta is my Jaime Lannister right now. Like, listen, dude. Like I don't think she's necessarily like a good person, but goddamn if I don't find her character so interesting and likable in a lot of ways. And you're right. Like I think I called it when Tam came to their like quote unquote attacked their like cottage,
the way she was protecting
Elaine, I was like, hey, listen, like you got to give her props for that because Feyre says something effective like she will die for Elaine. And I think that's when I was like, hey, maybe there's actually more to Nesta here.
There's some substance there,
Right.
yeah.
And I was very happy to see that. Speaking of Elaine, Feyre spends most of her time gardening. That's kind of the rest of this chapter with Elaine.
Yeah.
Elaine seems very happy and lovely, and even like all the servants and shit seem to like adore her.
Yeah.
So
I will
good for
one
Elaine.
call out I wanted to say here. Elaine does make mention that Feyre looks different and she speaks different.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, yeah, I did notice that I kind of have a glow about me. And I'm like, yeah, you got that glow on, dude. You fucking got that good D. How you not gonna be glowing?
You got that fairy D.
Dude, that fairy D.
True. She'd be glowing.
Fairy D Luffy.
Fairy D Lu. God, dude. How did I miss that joke? That is all I had for 29.
I had one other call out.
Okay.
So they revisit the old like cottage. There's some reminiscing happening.
Right. Yes.
And I especially liked. I love a good character moment when you get a little bit of like introspection here. Feyre, she acknowledges that Elaine had a very different experience and relationship with their home growing up.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's really cool because, like, as a person in the real world, it's hard to take yourself out of your brain and your experiences and your truth and, like, acknowledge what something may have been to another. So that's really cool. That's very emotionally mature of her.
Yeah. Maybe, honestly, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
Finish.
Lastly, she applauds Elaine's strength.
Yes.
For holding on to hope and the positive mindset through all of, basically their childhood. And I just think it's a very, very, very good introspection. It's very short and sweet, but I really liked it. It resonated with me.
I agree completely. I think maybe we sold Elaine a little short in the beginning too, where we were like, she just kind of seems ditzy and clueless.
Maybe she'll be like the charming, like Luna Lovegood character.
Yeah, maybe she's just like relentlessly positive, and that's her whole thing. And I appreciate you brought that up because I did enjoy how Feyre kind of had that introspection of like, wow, Elaine saw the hope and I didn't, even in those dark times. So, chapter 30 starts with her seeing Isaac Hale and with his new wife, and it's not awkward. It's actually mostly nothing.
Also kind of emotionally mature in a way. Like, we're in a new place.
I felt this was
stage.
So refreshing.
Yes.
I was like, this could have been like such a blow up or like a bitterness moment, and it was nothing. And I was like, that's actually very refreshing that interaction took place.
Well, and it's from like from a very emotional and like standpoint, and like also just like thinking from the perspective of somebody who's like romantically moved on. Not to say that like to move on from a relationship you have to be romantically involved in somebody else. That's not at all what I'm saying. But Feyre has experienced a lot in a short amount of time, and her, like, I think just seeing this gave her that closure of like, I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
And whether it's through the love that she felt or feels for Tamlin, or just the sheer experiences and like the hardships that she's experienced, like, going to Prythian, there's a really nice sense of closure there. And I'm glad that we got to like hear her acknowledge it.
Definitely. This is where Nesta confronts her, and
yes,
I think she references something about going home or something like that. And Nesta is basically like, this isn't your home. Your home is somewhere far away.
I have the quote.
Okay.
So Nesta kind of very shortly asks Feyre, why do you bother staying here?
Right. That's what it was.
It's my home, isn't it? No, it's not. I think your home is somewhere very far away from here. And then she begins to say Aunt Ridley's house, and she just says, there is no Aunt Ridley.
Yeah. She's
very cool.
Mad onto her. She's like, no more of your bullshit.
Yeah, Nesta sees through the glamour. She says, quote, your beast's little trick didn't work on me. Apparently all it takes is an iron will.
Hell yeah, Nesta.
I had to sit and watch as Father and Elaine went from sobbing hysterically into nothing.
That's pretty messed up, actually.
That's fucked, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that is, like, not only is that fucked to just acknowledge, but, like, testament to the will of Nesta.
Because that would be the kind of thing that would make you feel like, am I the crazy one?
Mm-hmm.
Am I insane?
And even just like this, I feel like this also displays not only her will, but like her loyalty and commitment to protecting her family, because I feel like this can be tied to, she could have said something.
Right.
But I feel like she kind of in a way knew, like, hey, Feyre is okay.
Yes.
To some degree. Right?
Also, Elaine is happy, and I think that is
right.
very important to her, obviously.
Yes. It's very, very cool. Feyre then asks Nesta about going after her.
Yeah.
And we learned that Nesta brought back the
cool
number
mercenary
one VIP character of this entire fucking story,
yes.
the mercenary woman.
Hell yeah.
Who doesn't even have a name.
True.
She hires her to go with her, to accompany her to go to Prythian.
Yeah.
And you know, she's not able to get past the barrier and turns home.
I think that's so fucking cool of Nesta that she did all this.
Dude.
Like, I know a lot of it because she says here, I thought I'd gone mad. Maybe some winter wind had shattered our door. But every time I did, I would look at that painted part of the table, then at the claw marks, and know it wasn't in my head.
Dude.
So there is definitely a part of this that is like probably proving to herself that she's not the crazy one.
Right.
This actually reminds me a lot of there's a scene in one of my favorite shows, The Leftovers, that you fucking refuse to watch.
Yeah.
Where a character basically does something to kind of like, it's like an absurd act to almost like prove to themselves that they're not crazy. And it reminded me so much of this. And I love that scene so much. I think about it all the time.
Hell yeah.
But I was like, man, Nesta is such a real one for this, like legitimately. And it made me so happy.
Yeah. There is, so after this interaction, or like this part of the interaction happens, Nesta then kind of orders Feyre to tell her everything. Feyre does. And the closure of that conversation is simply, she stared at me for a long while afterwards before asking me to teach her how to paint.
Yeah.
Which is just like I don't know. I can't put a name on like what exactly that display is, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's so cool that she's just like, okay, all right. Like she just takes it in. She's probably going to be digesting it for a while.
A long time.
But she takes that step to like, I don't know if it's like to make amends.
Right?
To build a relationship, whatever it is, she takes that step and asks her to teach her how to paint. And I just love that.
I think 100% I'm with you. I think it's helpful, so helpful for both of them to have like a confidant now. You know, where Nesta has been like alone with knowing this, and, you know, Feyre, you know, the same way. Now they have this thing, and I'm sure part of this is Nesta knows like, hey, if we spend time together painting,
we'll have more conversations about
this. We can confide in each other more.
Absolutely.
There was a part right before this that I really wanted to touch on as well.
Okay.
Where Feyre is having the realization, she's thinking about back what Tam said about whether or not her father would come after her. This is in reference to like when she thought the Puka was her father and all that. And she's basically realizing that he wouldn't have come. And Tamlin was
No.
wrong. He would have hired someone to do it for him. But Nesta had gone with that mercenary. My hateful, cold sister had been willing to brave Prythian to rescue me. And then she asks her, what happened to Thomas Mandre? I asked. And Nesta's only response is, I realized he wouldn't have gone with me to save you from Prythian. I'm like, Nesta is suddenly the goat,
Dude. Nesta is a hell of a character.
Yeah.
And dude, I just like I gotta step out of the story for a second here. Like, kudos to Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah.
Cause like Moss, I always forget how it's supposed to be pronounced. Like, we have had such little interaction.
Yes.
For them. And like, she has not had the opportunity to like be flushed out in a lot of ways. And I still felt emotional.
Yes.
Like reading this, I was like, dude, Nesta has got it, man. Yes, I'm very interested in her character. Big fan. I really hope that she continues to play a role in these books.
Because after maybe it's 31 or 32, she's gone for the rest of these chapters we had for this, and it did make me sad. But boy, did she make her playing time count. Like her points per minute was just like off the charts.
Her Ks per 9.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's a baseball term.
There you go. Yeah, good job, buddy. Nesta is still very bitter at their father for doing nothing for them for all those years. This is not really in relating to them being under the glamour. This is more in relation to letting their mother die. Nesta is extremely bitter at her father for that.
Nesta says, there are days when I want to ask him if he remembers he almost let us starve to death.
Yeah. And that
I couldn't take care of us the way that you did, and I hated you for that. But I hated him more. I still do. I've always hated him, even before we were poor. He let mother die.
And then specifically, she says to Feyre, he let her die. You would have gone to the ends of the earth to save your high lord. So this is just great stuff after great stuff for Nesta. I love how she owns up to, I've hated father for years. I still hate him because he was going to let us starve. I hated you for how capable you were. And she doesn't say it outright, but you can tell what she means by that is
she felt useless.
She felt
like she wasn't able to provide.
The hate she feels towards Feyre for the capability is not the same way she hates for her father. She is grateful, but there's like a jealousy of the Feyre.
It's almost an envy. Yes, it's definitely more of an envy.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's great stuff, dude.
It's like, great character building.
Nesta fucking stole the show, man. I thought about this Nesta chapter throughout this entire batch.
Yeah, so I read these in like 2 little 5-chapter sections, and the first one I did, like, it was probably over a week ago, and I had forgotten about this stuff until we got into it, and then I was like, oh yeah, shit, this is the Nesta stuff. This is
the
great.
Good stuff.
That is all I had for chapter 30. Did you have anything else?
Hey, also, your screen share is frozen on my end. Are we good on your side?
I think we're good, bud.
Okay.
Did anything change?
It did change.
Okay.
And that's production with the Mythkeepers crew.
Chapter 31. Now that Nesta has basically said to her, you would have gone to the ends of the earth to save your high lord. Now she feels guilty that she didn't fight harder to keep Tam.
She also, again, kudos to Nesta for pushing like this interaction. I think is what moved this part of the story
along. Yes,
absolutely. Yes. So good, so powerful. Big fan of this. Honestly.
Things change so quickly here in this chapter, and I was so happy. Like, on one hand, I'm like sad that we're getting away from Nesta, but on the other hand, I was like, this could have been a very lingering, boring part of the story if it had gone on for much longer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we can't just sit and at the rich house and have parties and talk. Like, it would just, as much as I love the Nesta stuff, it would have dragged.
This, man, I so badly want to read like a version of this book that has POV chapters instead.
Yeah.
To get like the Nesta stuff. I just think that would be so interesting. Like, I would love to see her grappling with that with the family.
True.
Like, even if it's just like a chapter or two.
I think we just want more Nesta, Zach, is what we're saying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. What's fucking wild, dude, is one of the first things I said on this podcast was Nesta's a bitch.
Is like literally the first thing, I think.
She definitely has a bitchy attitude. I'm not gonna rescind that, obviously, but boy, is she a good character. Yeah, big fan.
Feyre finds out this Bedor family all died in a house fire and the daughter is missing. And she comes to the realization, like, oh shit, that is the name that I gave Rhysand.
Yes.
When he asked my name, Claire Bedor or whatever. I think they have the party at some point, but basically the gist of this is Feyre pretty quickly decides that I'm done. Like, Nesta, take care of things here. I have to go back. And Nesta is just, again, to her credit, just instantly on board. Like, Feyre doesn't have to, like, convince her or rationalize. Like, Nesta literally just tells her, Father once told you to never come back, and I am telling you now, we can take care of ourselves. And it's just like, don't come back.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that there's like a big part of this interaction that like is like Nesta is she's compensating for the way that like Feyre's always been able to take care of them.
Yes.
And now she feels like she holds the key to give, like almost like to give Feyre permission to go chase this down.
Yes,
right. Like,
for sure.
So it's all. I mean, it's not quite this dramatic, but it's almost like the like, go on, get out of here. I don't love you anymore.
She's old
right?
Yellering
like,
her.
She's no, it's not Old Yeller. It's
White Fang.
White Fang.
Yeah, you're right. I did the wrong dog.
So yeah, it's I just feel like it's her living up to like her rendition of like taking care of her people.
Yes.
She has to give that permission to Feyre, and yeah, it's a great interaction. I love that that's kind of how that ended. Not except for, but and then we get this line from Feyre, there's a better world out there, Nesta, and I will find you again. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, I'm shortening it up a little bit. I love that. And Elaine comes in and she's fucking sobbing.
Yeah.
And she remembers
everything now, yeah.
And I'm very curious on, does Dad remember? And does Dad remember and he's choosing to pretend like he doesn't, to just live in his own perfect little world?
Yeah, there's no interaction with him here before she leaves, which is interesting. Because yeah, to what extent, to how shitty is her father here, I guess. Like you said, does he remember and is just choosing to live in the delusion because it's easier? Or like, what is is it too painful for him to see her leave again? I don't know. It's strange that there's no interaction between them. I hope there's some resolution at some point there. One quick thing I did love, because I think at some point Feyre basically says like, hey, if I can figure things out with the blight and etc. over there, I can bring you guys to Prithian or something like that. And Nesta basically tells her like, don't bother. I don't think I'd be particularly fond of fairies. But then she's like, hey, I think I would like to see what else is out there, what a woman might do with a fortune and a good name.
Oh,
So Nesta wants to travel the world.
give me that book.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me that book.
She's like, fairies, that's not my jam, but I'll travel the world.
You know, I have to say though, like, as obviously we joke about this, but like, that is the genetic makeup of an incredible supporting character.
Yeah.
It is difficult to have a protagonist be that conflicted or that gray, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, I mean, yes, give me that book because fuck yes, Nesta. I want to support Nesta, but also like doesn't always make for the greatest
Hell yeah.
protagonist.
True.
So, anyway,
the end of this chapter is just Feyre rides to the wall. She takes like 2 days searching, but she very conveniently finds a portal through, gets through the wall, gets to the mansion, and it's very deserted and very tore up. So things do not look great.
it's quiet. Too quiet.
Quiet. And that is pretty much it for 31.
Right.
And then this next chapter is Lore Dump, the chapter.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, Scotty. I took notes here,
Okay.
but I also was like, I'm sure Scott took a lot of notes here.
Fucking do it. I was like, you already heard me talk about the fucking giant ass.
Yes.
Fucking. Okay, just for reference, I can't remember if I told you this specifically. So for these 10 chapters, I have, let's see here, about, because I use large typeface. I don't take this like, these so many notes. I have like 31 pages of notes. For chapter 31 alone.
31.
Or sorry,
Oh.
32.
Okay.
For chapter 32 alone, I have... Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
12 pages. 12 of the 33
Holy
pages
shit.
are one chapter. So this is probably where we'll be spending a bulk of the episode. I listen, we can hopefully go through some of this pretty quickly, but there is a lot of information, a lot of stuff we have been curious about.
Yes.
Some big reveals, some more fucking Beauty and the Beast references. There's just a lot going on in this chapter.
And speaking of the Beauty and the Beast reference, on our Discord,
we already talked about
Discord?
this.
Huh?
We already talked about this. Are you talking about how it is meant to be a retelling of Beauty and the Beast?
Oh, you know what? This was an Instagram DM. No, this is separate to that.
Oh, okay.
It was maybe in the Discord. It may have been an Instagram. Let's say it was Discord so that I can use this opportunity to tell everybody to join the Discord if you guys want to chat about the episodes and chat about the book and a bunch of other things with us. Just shoot us a DM or an email asking for an invite link and we will send that over your way. But somebody said, it's wild or it's crazy to me that you guys didn't see it coming. That you guys didn't see her going back to
right. Yes. Okay. I remember this now.
Coming, because
she goes home at one point.
She goes home in Beauty and the Beast. She's like,
yeah.
they're like, yes, it's obviously like a direct parallel. It's Beauty and the Beast, and like I think this was your response. Like, dude, it's been fucking 20 years since I've seen the Beauty and the Beast, man. Like, I don't remember that shit. So yeah.
Listen,
anyway,
we're not perfect over here. So Feyre is trying to track them and piece together what happens. And who does she meet but our favorite gal, Alice? And Alice basically, why'd you spill your beans here?
Dude, I thought that the mansion being in like a wreck, I thought it was a ruse maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there was a part where she makes notice that like it appeared to be like a very heavy battle, but oddly there wasn't any bodies.
Oh, sure.
And there wasn't really any blood.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this I mean, I don't think it is after all, but it could just be mostly because of the fact that there's not a lot of people that live in the Spring Court.
Could be. Yeah. I don't know.
By the way,
Alice is pissed. She's pissed at Feyre for coming back. She's pissed at her for leaving in the first place. She's just not happy with Feyre.
Right.
She does tell her that Tam and Lucien are alive, and Amarantha took them to her court under the mountain.
Hey, by the way, she says, wait, where is this? She took him to her court under the mountain. To her court. Weird.
Is it?
Is it a court that hasn't been named yet by chance? And I was like, Scotty, maybe you were onto something when you were talking about the whole like dawn court or dusk court. Do you remember that?
Oh, the dawn. Yeah. I said there should be a dusk court if there's a dawn court, right?
Or yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like we learned through this lore dump that she resides under the mountain, not really tied to any of the other courts.
Sure.
So I'm like,
you're supporting my theory here?
I am actually.
Because I did not draw that conclusion at all.
Totally, like I heard this and I was like, wait a second. Maybe this is the Dusk Court or whatever the fuck.
Don't they just specifically refer to it as the court under the mountain?
Well, okay, so I guess this may be an audiobook issue. Like if that's capitalized, then like maybe that's what it's called. I don't know.
I don't think I have that in a direct
thought they're
quote.
just
I
like,
may have written that, but
I thought they're just like referencing it.
Gotcha.
Maybe they don't know that it's that they refer to it as the Dusk. I don't know, whatever.
Mark it down. This is the Dusk Court.
This is the Dusk Court.
Lock it in. Hell yeah. Okay, so I have a lot of quotes from here, but I don't want to like spend the entirety on this. So Alice tells her, because Feyre is just like, tell me the truth. And Alice finally is like, okay, here's the truth. And then blah, just gives her like fucking an entire novel of what's been happening. So she took him for the curse because the 7 times 7 years were over and he hadn't shattered her curse. 7 times 7.
Why 7 times 7?
I don't know. 49 years.
Why not just say the number of years?
Because it's fantasy and it's way cooler to say 7 times 7. 7 is obviously a very important number for them, which is why they have 7 courts and they neglected Dusk.
And there's 7 kingdoms.
Yeah.
And there's 7 are there 7 Dragon Balls?
No, there's wait, are there? How many Dragon Balls? I should probably know this.
I think there's 7
Dragon Balls, I think.
Yeah.
Is it 7?
7 Horcruxes.
Is that actually 7?
Well, I mean, it's meant to be 7 Horcruxes. There's actually 8 because of Harry. But
7 Warlords of the Sea.
Hey.
Hey.
Sevens.
Yeah, 7 times 7. He hadn't shattered her course.
That's a big piece of wood, dude. I'm only used to a 2x4.
Why did I say course, by the way? I meant to say curse. So she has summoned all the High Lords to her court to make them watch her break him.
That's kinky, man.
She wants it to be
She's
kinky.
into that.
Yes, very much so.
100%.
So we find out Amarantha definitely wants that hot Tam D.
Yeah.
It's just so bad.
I'm not king shaming, by the way.
No.
Because, I mean,
listen,
like,
he's so
I
hot
could be into
and
that,
sweaty.
too.
I can't blame her. So she is High Queen of Prythian. And Feyre is like, there is no Queen of Prythian. Like the high.
Yeah, I like how Feyre's like, no.
Yeah, Feyre's like, no, Alice.
No, that's not right.
Yeah, so good. All the High Lords rule equally. And Alice is like, that's how it used to be until, okay, this I'm confused and intrigued by because 100 years ago, she says it used to be that way until 100 years ago. So 50 years or 51 years passed in between her becoming High Queen and then Tammy and her making this 7 times 7 deal.
Yes.
I don't know. Well, she appeared, I guess just 100 years ago, Alice says specifically, she appeared in these lands and as an emissary from Hybern, which is the name of the mountain. I don't think the king
Not the name of the mountain. Hybern is the kingdom, the other island.
The island, right. That's what I'm saying. I think for a while there, I thought that was the guy's name.
Okay.
But I don't think he's been named yet, unless I'm wrong.
No, I don't think he has.
I think they just keep calling him the King of Hybern.
Yeah.
So basically, she charmed all the High Lords with talk of trade between Hybern and Prythian, more communication, more sharing. They called her the never-fading flower. And yes, okay, so she didn't...
NFF, let's go.
So here's an answer to my question. For 50 years, she lived here as a courtier bound to no court, making amends for her own actions and the actions of Hybern during the war. So no, she didn't become High Queen immediately 100 years ago.
Okay.
And this is where we learn kind of her backstory and what's going on with this Amarantha, which is pretty cool. So she was Hybern's best general during the war with the mortals, or the mortal realms, or whatever. Oh God. She fought on the front line with her sister Clythia, which is a name I hate, which is every fiber of my being.
I've never found Clythia. Someone might need to show me where to find the Clythia.
Why that name? Why did you have to call her Clythia?
Yeah, come on, Sarah J. Maas.
Not only does it sound like what you just said, but it also sounds like chlamydia.
Dude, I got a bad case of Clythia.
If you found anything,
on my Clythia,
you found that chlamydia. It's just the most awful name in existence, and I hate it so much.
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
So I will continue.
It's okay, she's dead.
Yeah, good thing she's dead. So Clythia, who was Amarantha's sister, fell in love with the human commander named Jurian. Also a dub name. He used and betrayed Clythia for information and then fucking crucified her on an ash cross.
That's what you do.
Which is like, goddamn, dude.
Who hurt you, man?
Yeah, Jesus.
It was her name, really.
Listen,
he's like, I finally found the Clythia. I can't let it go anywhere. Put it up on this crucifix. Never losing it again.
That's so fucked. This was a cool quote. I do have this directly. They say Amarantha's wrath could have brought down the skies themselves had her king not ordered her to stand down. But she and Jurian, that's still a dumb name, had their final confrontation later. And since then, Amarantha has hated humans with a rage you cannot imagine. If a human... Well, it sounds like she was already a piece of shit, but then if a human crucified your sister, Clythia, that might make you hate them even more. Okay, this was the part that I didn't like, that I was like, these fuckers are so stupid. Centuries pass. Amarantha opens up the trade routes. And for some reason, the High Lords trust her. I'm like, these people are so stupid. Why do they trust her? Because in secret, she's bringing over her own personal forces. She wants to take Prythian as a launching point to destroy the mortal world. She doesn't even give a shit about Prythian that much. It's just like her jumping off point.
Yeah.
And 49 years ago, she strikes.
So hold on. What's dumb about that? What do you not like about that?
Why?
Just that they trusted her?
Just that they trusted her. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean,
She's
I don't
obviously
think that,
crazy.
I don't think that she did anything like outright like bad to the Fey realm, to the fairy, like to Prythian.
Not necessarily, no, you're right, but just the way they described how she acted on the battlefield and when she was a general, it's like, I felt it was pretty clear she was unhinged, but maybe that's coming from...
I mean, you're getting this lore dump right in front of you, like you're...
I guess, yes, true, but also it's just like, I suppose not everyone is like Tam, not that all the High Lords care about mortals, like
no.
Most of them
and also
don't.
if you have
fair.
think about it like this, like Tam isn't a very power hungry person, but other High Lords may be. And if you have somebody who's extremely powerful, who is known to be this like legendary general, coming over trying to make peace with you, like, I feel like a lot of people would probably be like, maybe I should be friends with this person.
Okay, that's probably fair, but there's something similar. This wasn't the big one. There's something similar I disliked more later, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
So 49 years ago, she strikes. She was cunning and cruel. She waited until they absolutely trusted her, until they gathered at a ball in her honor. And that night, she slipped a potion stolen from the King of Hybern's unholy spell book into their wine. Once they drank, the High Lords were prone, their magic laid bare, and she stole their powers from where they originated inside their bodies, plucked them out as if she were taking an apple from its branch, leaving them with only the basest elements of their magic. And this is where Alice is like, because I think Feyre says something like, well, what is, like, did she bring the blight then? And Alice is like, Amarantha is the blight, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, there is no blight.
It's her. And so I called this shit. What did I call here, Zach? I don't know. I have a note in here that I called this shit, but I don't remember what I called.
I don't know, man. I've already given you flowers on two things you called this episode.
True.
I can't be
I'm
gonna
give myself credit for something that I can't remember. This right here. Okay, if I just had kept reading.
That's how that works.
I don't know how much credit I can give, though, because, again, this is basically just Beauty and the Beast. You could have been the one to free him and his power had you not been so blind to your own heart. And Alice is like, fucking humans, basically. And Feyre is like, I didn't know. And Alice said, you couldn't know. It was all part of Tamlin's curse, which I think I've referenced very early on. I was like, hey, does he need to win her love to break the spell or something like that?
Yeah, I think you and I talked about this, like when Lucien is like, go on, dude, like go fucking romance her,
exactly,
you know?
Exactly. Very much like the fucking candlestick and the clock trying to get the beast to go flirt with her vibes. So yeah, I don't know how much credit I could take for that one, to be fair. Okay. I've been talking a lot here. Do you have notes, or do I just need to keep going through this?
You pretty much need to just keep going through this.
I fucking hate you.
I remember. Okay, so like I know the curse. Like I can talk about it, but I don't have it written out as notes.
Okay, one thing I want to point out here that I don't necessarily dislike, but it's like real hand wavy about the mechanics of this unholy spell book, this incredibly powerful potion that just rips all their magic away, just lickety split.
Who just has that?
Right, that dude. He just has this unholy spell book and this potion lying around, and it's just real hand wavy about that. I'm not necessarily against that because the mechanics of how something works are not necessarily as interesting as
like what happens,
the repercussions of it. Yes. Yeah. But I did think it was funny. It's just like, yeah,
I mean, it's a little lazy,
potion,
you know, we can call it.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying I have a problem with it.
We've been giving kudos everywhere that it deserves. We've also called out a couple things in our last episode that we didn't like. Like, it's a little lazy. That's a good call out, Scott.
It's just like lazy is maybe a little strong for it, but I just feel like it's pretty like, she took their powers. I don't know how. Doesn't matter. Fuck you.
That's lazy, buddy.
Yeah,
like, that's just being lazy.
Fair, actually.
Hey, my job is a writer to build and craft stories. That's being lazy at work.
I'm a storyteller. Hey, tell me the story.
Doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about.
How she took their powers. Fuck you. Doesn't matter. Unholy spellbook. Anyway, so Tam's father was allies and seems like buddies with the King of Hybern during the war. So Tam and Amarantha had met previously
and partook in lots of like slavery and torture of humans.
Oh yes, definitely. Like we already knew Tam's father was a giant piece of shit. And sounds like the King of Highburn and him were equally buddy giant pieces of shit.
Fuck boys, touching tips, docking, doing the whole thing.
Giant fuck boys. So yeah, Tam and Amarantha had known each other, and now Amarantha has decided that she wants his hot bod. Tam,
sweaty fiddle diddling.
Right, the sweaty fiddle diddler. Tam has heard about what she has done to both humans and fairies in the war, and is like, you are not above the hot crazy scale. Like, on the hot crazy scale, you're like way too far into the crazy. I'm gonna keep my distance. Hey, Lucien, go take care of this for me, buddy. Doesn't go so well for Lucien. Lucien basically goes in Tam's place and tells her, Tam's not interested, my gal. And he specifically tells her to go back to the shithole she crawled out of. That's my fucking goat, Lucien.
My fucking guy. That sounds like something that Astarion would say.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's just Astarion. And so she rips out his eye as punishment. Carved it out with her own fingernail. It's just fucked. And then
she's got a thing for them eyeballs.
She does have it. We'll talk about that, more later, I'm sure. She scarred his face. She sent him back so bloody that Tamlin vomited when he saw his friend. So Tam got a weak stomach, or he was really fucked up.
I think that's a very funny descriptor. Like, dude, she fucked me up so bad that he just threw up.
Yeah, there's
he saw me and just
yeah. I understand they're trying to make it sound like really bad, but there's it's like she goes a little too hard on it, because there's a line Feyre has that's like, oh, if all the things Tam had seen, if even this made him throw up, it must have been so bad. I'm like, okay.
It's like one step away from dude, he saw me and just sharted. Just straight up poop. Just
Lucien is still my goat for telling her to go back to the shithole she'd crawled out of. But good stuff from him. Okay, here's the bigger problem I have. My next note just says, this bitch Tam is dumber than Robb Stark. So this is Alice again. After that, she hosted a masquerade under the mountain for herself. All the courts were present. A party, she said, to make amends for what she'd done to Lucien, and a masquerade so he didn't have to reveal the horrible scarring on his face.
That's fucking funny that you made that reference, Scott, because in my notes, again, I don't have many notes, but in my notes, hold on, Jesus, what the fuck is the name of the song? I can't find it.
The Rains of Castamere?
Yeah, cue The Rains of Castamere.
Yeah, totally. So the entire spring court was to attend, even the servants, and to wear mass. To honor Tamlin's shape-shifting powers, she said. That is the weakest fucking excuse I've ever heard in my life.
Is that lazy also?
Just maybe Tam's a dumbass more.
Okay.
He was willing to try to end the conflict without slaughter, and he agreed to go to bring all of us. That night, Amarantha offered peace in exchange for Tam's hot bod. So not only does he refuse, but then he just layers on insults on top of this.
Dude.
This is like if Robb Stark was like, hey, I'm not going to marry your daughter, Frey, by the way. Have you seen how hot my new wife is? Also, by the way, you're like a greasy old piece of shit. And
and your daughters are ugly.
All your daughters are ugly. Your sons all hate you. This bridge, my guy, that you're so proud of, this thing is a piece of shit. It is falling down. Also, Tam spat in her face. Dude.
My guy, dude.
He tells her he'd rather marry a human, and that this is the brutalest burn. Even her sister. Hey, what was the name of her sister again, Zach?
Just straight up clit. Clitoris.
No, it's worse than just straight up Cliff. Because it also sounds like chlamydia. I actually forgot. What is it?
Chlamydia.
Clithia.
Chlamydia.
You really don't have any notes, do you? You didn't even have Clithia written down. How dare you?
No, I have Clithia written down.
Okay.
Clitia.
Sorry, where was I? He tells her that he'd rather marry a human and that even her sister preferred humans to her. That's
yikes,
Tam.
buddy.
And then he spits in her face. On
Way
top
to just
of that.
turn the blade while it's in, dude.
Okay, so how this is probably my bigger problem is just what the fuck were you thinking, my guy? After she ripped out Lucian's eyeball with her fingernail, you're like, sure, I'll go to a party.
I mean, is this the Ned Stark complex? Is this the like honorable but dumb?
This makes Ned Stark look pretty wise, to be honest.
I mean, I don't know, dude. He literally told Cersei to her face, I know what's up.
That was an act of mercy for the children. Tam does not have, yes, very stupid, don't get me wrong, but there was like a reason behind that. What is Tam's reason here? I said like to prevent further battles, but like she wasn't battling anyone.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I got nothing.
He's so dumb. And then he just makes it worse. Okay. What's next here? So
okay, hold on.
Yeah.
So, well, hold on. Did you have more of the lore dump to talk about?
Oh, there's still so much.
Okay. Okay, yeah, go ahead then.
Okay. Yeah, so now we get into the logistics of the curse, basically.
Mm-hmm.
If he wanted to break her curse, he need only find a human girl willing to marry him.
Only, by the way.
Only. But, hold on. But not any girl. A human with ice in her heart, with hatred for our kind. A human girl willing to kill a fairy.
Mm-hmm.
So now pieces are falling into place of why, what do you remember the name of the fairy? Andress. Why he just stood there and looked at her and let her kill him. Things are
Scott,
pieces.
Can I tell you?
Yeah.
The gasp I gusp.
You gusp?
Yeah, dude, I
That's
gusped.
definitely a word. Yeah.
Yeah, the gasp that I gusped. Because as soon, like right before she's like, "Oh, that explains why he just stood there and looked at me."
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Oh, Andress, no,
no, not
and then,
Andress."
And then I was like, "So, like, does Tamlin suck?" But no, he's like really conflicted about sending his people across the border to just die.
I'm still very torn about this.
I'm very torn about it too. It's kind of fucked, man. And also, like, not to say that the relationship and feelings that he grew with,
right, with
Feyre aren't real.
Are they though?
Well, okay. I guess here's what I'm saying is like, the argument could be there that like it grew into something that was real. And
I suppose the main argument for yes, it was for sure real was the fact that he sent her away to protect her, dooming his own court.
Yes. But it's still a little like manipulative and kind of weird, and I don't like
100%. I want to talk more about this because
all right.
I have thoughts that I have not fully squared, and we can talk through them, but I think we need to get through the rest of this nitty-gritty here.
Okay, all right.
The fairy she killed had to be one of his men, sent across the wall by him like lambs to slaughter. The girl could only be brought here to be courted. If she killed one of his men in an unprovoked attack. Hey, who be courting? Am I right?
Hey.
Killed him for hatred alone, just as Jurian had done to Clithia. So he could understand her sister's pain. By the way, fucking Amarantha, so elaborate. Like, if someone had, like, done all these insults to me and then spit in my face, I don't think I could have, like, just on the spot come up with such a ridiculously elaborate, like, scheme like this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, dude.
So props to her for, like, all these provisos. Like,
she's a petty bitch.
She is a petty bitch, but, like, so thorough. There's, like, no loopholes in this shit. It's like, no, but she has to hate fairies, and also you have to, like, have her kill one of your men, and you have to have sent those men, and this and that, and she just keeps layering shit on.
But if it happens on a Tuesday,
yeah, but if it happens on,
she has to be a blonde.
If it happens on Wednesday, it doesn't count.
Brunettes only on Wednesdays.
Brunettes only, yeah. So the treaty, that was all a giant lie. There was no provision. You can kill as many innocent fairies as you want and never suffer the consequences. You just killed Andros, sent out by Tamlin as that day's sacrifice. This is when Feyre realizes Andros was looking for a cure, Tamlin had said, and not for some magical blight, but a cure to save Prythian from Amarantha. And all she had to do was tell him she loved him. God damn it, Feyre. She blew it. Alice is right to be pissed at her, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, she just had to say it back.
He said it to her, and she felt it. She just couldn't say it. Come on. I guess we wouldn't have a story if she had just said it, but...
Yeah.
Lame.
I mean, there could have been a story.
Yeah, I suppose. So Amarantha binds their masks. They can't talk about it. This, like I said, her plan is just airtight. She's got all the loopholes covered. Tam sent his men through the wall every day for 2 years. But when, Jesus, that's so many men. But when just a dozen were left, it broke him and he stopped. I love how so 2 years every day, that's like 700 dudes. And it only breaks him when there's a dozen left. Yeah. This is kind of some of the problems I have with Tam. At some point, the Day, Summer, and Winter Court banded together 40 years ago to fight Amarantha. They tried to use the Children of the Blessed, which we learned about a long time ago at the beginning of the book.
Mm-hmm. This is where Feyre's like, ooh, open rebellion.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, dude, it didn't even get to that, bro.
Amarantha caught all of them and
fucking waxed them,
all
dude.
Of them. Yeah. So Nesta goaded once again. Wasn't she the one that told that gal, like, they're all dead? Yeah. Nesta, spot on, as usual. Let's see. This has got to be Alice talking. He thought that if the human girl loved true, then bringing her here to free him was another form of slavery. So Tamlin is at least thinking of these things. And he thought that if he did indeed fall in love with her, Amarantha would do everything she could to destroy her, as her sister had been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point. So he spent decades refusing to do it, to even risk it. But this winter, with months to go, he snaps, apparently again for a second time. He sent the last of his men out one by one. They were willing. They had begged him to go all these years. Tamlin was desperate to save his people.
That does help. Like, they had been, like, willing and wanting.
Yeah, I suppose.
But it's still fucked.
Desperate enough to risk the lives of his men, risk the human girl's life to save us. 3 days in, Andros finally ran into a human girl in a clearing, and you killed him with hate in your heart. So, shit, how much more is there here? Okay, almost through this, and then we can talk. Feyre is like, okay, well, no fucking wonder Lucien resented me, yet still tolerated my presence. Like, this is kind of making sense. No wonder he had been so angry when I left, had argued with Tamlin to let me stay longer. She tells Alice she's sorry. And Alice is just like, tell that to Tamlin. He had only 3 days after you left before the 49 years were over. 3 days and he let you go. She came here with her cronies at the exact moment the 7 times 7 years were up, and seized him and brought him and all his people under the mountain. So Feyre is obviously sick at the thought that Tam let her go, because it meant his men's sacrifices were in vain, and it basically doomed his entire court. But she thinks if she had remained, she would have been in danger. Even if she
would have
had
been targeted anyway.
Right. Even if she had freed him, she would have been in extreme danger.
That's the part that it's like, okay, like his whether it was love or not can be disputed, but his care for her well-being it is a sliver of goodness in this, like in their relationship.
Yes. This is complex.
It's hard. It's hard to...
Yeah. I don't think there's any... I do not feel qualified to like fully hash out the right and the wrong here, because there is this part here where Alice says like he viewed it as another form of slavery, of bringing a human here to like try,
which is true,
right? To try and get them to fall in love with him.
Like I was trying to like rationalize like, okay, like this is not okay because it's like, let's say some, like just try and simplify it. Like let's say some fucking weirdo guy kidnaps or takes some young woman into, like kidnaps some young woman, but then eventually starts to have feelings for her. Like that's not okay.
Yeah, not okay.
That's not okay. Right. But then you start adding in these layers of complexity of like, okay, well, he will most likely die in some way, shape, or form, or lose his power, or his people could die.
Right. It's where you bring his entire rest of his people into the mix that it gets muddier for me, because it's like,
yes,
when it's just him, it's like, you got to hold that, bud. You kind of brought that on yourself.
Yeah.
But then it's like his entire court and his people, do they deserve that?
Right.
And then there's the whole aspect of like, oh, but her feelings towards him were genuine and real, obviously, because we get her perspective. But then it's like, is that fucking Stockholm syndrome?
Right. It's just fucked, man. And like there could even be like the idea of like, hey, like I know that she wants to go and kill all the humans.
Right.
Like that is what she's platforming for.
Right.
Maybe if I can pull this off, I can stop that.
An ends justifying the means.
Yeah, so like it's just fucked. But like when we really narrow our view to like the relationship and the interaction of the two people, I just think it's a little muddy for me. It's just a little fucked up. Like,
yeah,
like no matter him coming, whether he does come into like true authentic feelings for her, it had to be because of the circumstances. Yes, it had to be a just, I mean, it was just manipulation.
Yes.
It had to.
Yes, because they could not tell her any of the truth.
Correct.
And
so
you're right. It's very muddy. And I'm not trying to make commentary here on like, oh, this is bad storytelling because of how, complex and convoluted and muddy it is. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I like that it's complex. I just don't know how to feel about it,
Yeah.
Like I don't know who I should be like rooting for in this situation.
Yeah.
Or like what gets a pass. It's I don't know if I've ever felt this way in a story before.
I think it's one of those things that like I would definitely feel like, oh man, like this is fucked if this was a story that I was reading and like not discussing and looking at under a microscope with you.
Sure. Yes.
And just be like, man, this is super fucked and just kind of like move through it because I'm interested in the rest of the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it's difficult for us to discuss a situation like that because there's things about it that are inherently wrong, and obviously we would stand by that. Like that is inherently not okay. And manipulation to any degree is just not okay. But also it's like we need to acknowledge that and also pay respect to the parts of it that make the decision or make the actions difficult on his side as well, to give us that complex like character, to give us that character that like struggles with that. So yeah, I don't know. I just think it's fucked.
I'm glad you brought that up. You called attention to the fact of how we're doing this, because I don't know if people like fully understand or appreciate it. It does make you think about things and view things differently than if I was reading this book and just reading it chapter by chapter all the way through as one would normally consume media. We're the fucking weirdos over here. It's a different experience than what we're doing, where we're taking a random chunk out of a book and, like you said, putting it under a microscope.
Sorry, a random what?
A chappy chunk.
There we go. Okay, gotcha.
And so analyzing it, and I'm sure over analyzing it, and people are like, it's fine, move the fuck on, you weirdos.
I don't know, like I feel I could be wrong. Like I see some stuff from like the ACOTAR socials and like community. I've like obviously done everything I can to like distance myself from that, but like I feel like fans of this series or of this author in general are pretty like passionate, and also like because of the style of book, obviously. I mean, even like our podcast as it own, like I think our listenership is like 70, maybe 80% women. So I think just like maybe this type of thing resonates a little bit more. And I think that's, you said earlier, like it's difficult. Like we're not qualified to like understand how,
for sure.
But I do understand that like there's a lot that's inherently wrong and like needs to be pointed out.
Yes.
Like, it's difficult to like find the right words to say exactly what's happening and wrap our head around that.
Yeah. I think where I am hesitating and having the trouble most is like this story is so much about their relationship and the romance between Feyre and Tamlin.
Right.
That's where it's like, that's where my hiccup is because there's so much baggage and complexity and just kind of not okayness behind the scenes of that romance and that relationship.
Yes.
That is giving me pause. Whereas like if I take a wider view and look at the story as a whole, there's a lot to appreciate and a lot to love and a lot that I like. But it's just like the story is so much about that relationship, that makes it more difficult.
It's weird because like, do we feel this way about Beauty and the Beast? Like in Beauty and the Beast, he seems so much more reluctant, Yes.
Yeah, she just kind of wanders into his castle in Beauty and the Beast, right? Like he didn't bring her there.
Yeah.
Like she gets lost in the woods, right? Is that the key difference here?
I honestly can't remember, so I don't
that's
know.
the thing. I think by the last time when I was watching Beauty and the Beast as a kid, I wasn't media literate enough to be like analyzing, like, wow, this is Stockholm syndrome at its finest, if you ask me.
Yeah, and like it's also it's easier to like disassociate that because in Beauty and the Beast, like even if she's lured in some capacity, like he is this literal like animal thing that is so reluctant to the whole like interaction.
Right.
And we see reluctance from him like constantly, whereas here he's immediately romanticized by her and by the author, like how attractive he is and like, how physically attractive he is.
That's a good distinction because the whole thing of the Beast is that she has to really look past the exterior to see the person underneath. Whereas the exterior is still hot as hell.
Right. So it's just this like, you know, like, I don't know. It's really fucked. I don't know how else to say it, man. It's really fucked. I'm glad we're talking about it because I think it needs to be talked about.
Yes, I agree.
By any podcast or any like source of media that's going to like dive in and look at this under a microscope. But it is difficult to speak on. And honestly, you know, anybody who's listening or watching, like I would genuinely love your take, whether that's through email or Discord or a comment.
After this airs, I'll be very curious to get busy in the Discord because I want to see people's takes on this. And I know there's probably even more information that we aren't privy to that will make that difficult a lot of times to speak on. But
sure, right.
As
with
best you
spoilers
can,
excluded, obviously.
Right. As best you can, I really want to get some feedback on this.
And from two men who are maybe not as in touch with like the intricacies and the nuance of this interaction, we want some direction and feedback.
Big time. Yes.
Yeah, truly. We're open to that. And you know, if something that we're saying or something that we're missing is just like off, we want to know.
Right. And that's why I said, like, I feel like I wanted to lead at the top of like, I do not feel fully qualified to unpack this,
right.
But I'll do my best.
I just know it's wrong.
Right. It's just, there's so much about it that feels, not quite right.
Not okay. Yeah.
Okay. Last little bit of this chapter here. Feyre wants to know, she asks Alice if his powers were freed, could he beat Amarantha? Like, hey, one-on-one fight. Who you got?
Yeah. Who you putting your money on? And she's like,
money on.
She is kind of a badass, but also she plays more the mind game card rather than the physical strength. So like if it was an actual fight, it's probably going to go to Tam, but we've not gotten to see her like physical strength.
Right. Because Alice specifically says that she keeps their powers, like the other High Lord's powers, locked up inside of herself, but she can't access them. It's not like she has all their powers at her disposal.
It seems so strange that like people just know that.
Yeah. That unholy book is a bestseller.
Like this is, I know, right? Like this is just straight up a Dragon Ball Z villain.
How so?
It's just like, oh, like she stole all of our powers, but like somehow like these random support characters just like know the intricacies of.
I don't remember that happening.
I mean, okay, just like insert any anime.
Okay,
like,
fair enough, sure.
Like it's just like she sapped all of her powers, but she doesn't have access to them, but she's just holding them.
Well,
so like.
If this was an anime, there'd be a 10-minute conversation where the bad guy told you what he was doing.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So Feyre asks Alice, hey, how do I get under the mountain? And Alice is like, it's suicide. But Feyre is...
You don't.
Yeah, you don't, bitch. You die. But Feyre is adamant, and Alice eventually agrees to take her. There is a badass line from Feyre here at the end of this chapter where she tells Alice, I don't believe in fate, nor do I believe in some ridiculous cauldron. And I'm like, that's right. Suck on that cauldron.
Fuck the cauldron.
You're ridiculous. Courtesy
you know
of my
what
girl,
I do in
Feyre.
a cauldron?
right into the cauldron.
Yeah.
Suck on that cauldron.
She does. She does tell her to seek out Nesta for shelter.
Oh, true.
If she has to run.
That was cool. I did appreciate that.
And she's like, I know that Nesta will take care of them. And I love that.
I think that's actually in this next chapter, but this next chapter is very short. I had the audacity to say...
I don't think it is.
Yes, no, it is. It's in chapter 33. I have the note right here.
Oh, you're right.
It's where they actually separate. Because Alice... This chapter is very short. They travel...
Yeah, okay, you're right.
To some cave, which is like some kind of teleporter, ancient shortcut pathway thingy. Alice,
it just works.
It just works. It doesn't matter. Alice does give her some rules here to follow.
Yes,
very helpfully. She says, "Don't drink the wine. Don't make deals with anyone unless your life depends on it. That'll be very important very soon. And even then consider whether or not it's worth it. And most of all, don't trust a soul in there, not even your Tamlin. Your senses are your greatest enemies. They will be waiting
I like that line.
to betray you. Alice, we love Alice here. We've loved Alice for forever.
She gives one more thing.
What does she give?
She says there's one part of the curse that even now she doesn't want you to know about. I can't say it.
She's like, because earlier, I think it was last chapter, she said, like, the fact that I can tell you all these things basically means she doesn't care anymore. But there's one thing she still can't.
Yeah. So she's saying, hey, there's something else. I can't say it, but keep your ears open for it.
Right.
And in my head, I bet it's something like, even though it's past the time, like if she like sacrifices her life,
right? Yeah,
or something to that extent, it'll break the curse.
There's some magical bullshit loophole here waiting for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yes, this is where Feyre tells Alice to go to Nesta once she gets her nephews. And she has this thought here: she knows Nesta will take care of them because Nesta is the goat.
Yes, the goat.
Then she goes into the cave and sneaks around for a bit before she gets caught by the ACOTAR. And that is pretty much that chapter.
That's pretty much that.
Okay, chapter 34.
So the Adder.
Yes.
ACOTAR.
I don't know. There actually, I think there is a, at the very back of the book, a pronunciation guide I saw briefly and then decided to ignore.
Oh, is Rhysand
I think
in
it's
there?
Rhys. Yeah, Rhys specifically.
Interesting.
Anyway, I have a quote here from Feyre. This is talking about the ACOTAR, it looked unnervingly identical to how I had painted it. She has magic painting powers 100%. I called that before, I think. I'm calling it again. She has magic painting. You might be right.
Powers. Yeah, there's also something that comes up later that I will make mention of that might lean into that in a way.
Because she's part Fae also, like Fae descendant. Okay, good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, so can you remind me, like, I do not remember the interaction she had with the ACOTAR.
Oh, it just
ACOTAR
brings her before Amarantha immediately.
No. How does she know of the ACOTAR?
It's the thing that brought them the message when she was like hiding in the bushes, in the shrubberies before. Yeah.
I don't recall.
It was like talking to Lucien and Tam, and he like cast a like silence spell on her.
Okay, no, you're right. Okay, I do remember this.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I don't know why I thought that was actually Amarantha.
No, just a messenger.
Okay, my mistake. Okay, good to know.
You dumbass.
Yes. So they arrive to a crowd.
Yep.
And the ACOTAR throws her forward. And she looks up and she sees Amarantha sitting on the throne. And beneath her, Tamlin on the ground, chained, right? He's chained?
No, I think he was in like another smaller chair next to her. Maybe chained, but I don't think he was on the ground.
He's just not responsive, though. No reaction to Feyre.
Total poker face.
Like, I feel like under a spell or something.
Could be. Or he's just still, because he tries to sell Amarantha a lie here. He's
right.
He's like, oh, someone glamored her as a joke. It was probably that damn Rhysand, that scamp. This guy. She's not buying it.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I don't know if he's just playing that, or he could be under some kind of spell for sure.
Or both.
Yeah, or
I mean, like, he could be under some type of thing that's, like, suppressing him.
Yeah, mellowing his ass out a little bit.
Yeah.
He's on some...
He's on a little bit of that reefer.
Yes.
Feyre says, I've come to claim the one that I love. Taken straight out of any romantic book ever.
Hell yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've come to claim Tamlin.
I love how Feyre, this is basically like a Hail Mary. She's like, maybe if I say I love him now, like, will it work? It doesn't work.
Amarantha shows Feyre the strung up Claire better.
Yeah. Not great.
Mangled corpse.
Yeah.
It's not great.
This is a great line from Amarantha to Tamlin. She says, "Oh, you are delicious. You let me torture that innocent girl to keep this one safe, you lovely thing. You actually made a human worm love you. Marvelous."
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I think I kind of like Amarantha as a villain.
She's got enough of like shitty, cocky, confident villain that I'm into. Yeah.
You know what's funny is I keep picturing Mizora.
I can see a Mizora for sure. These are just all Baldur's Gate 3 characters.
Yeah. I mean, but like that's like her charisma,
yes, for sure.
Her like attitude.
Her
I
hotness.
picture Mizora. Yeah. Well, apparently she's not all that great according to Feyre.
Maybe Feyre's just a really petty bitch. Just like, she's not that hot.
She's not even that hot.
She's not even that hot.
You left me for her?
Yeah, like Tam obviously thinks I'm hotter.
Yeah, it's very funny.
I love the idea of Feyre as like a Jersey or like a Cali girl. Like, well, no, see, Tam prefers me, actually.
Yeah. She's not even that hot.
Have you seen her nails? OMG.
Dude, did you see what she was wearing? Yeah. It's really good. So anyway, Amarantha is kind of a badass bitch. You already said this. She allows Tamlin to speak. He says, "I've never seen her before. Maybe the glamour." Amarantha knows that he's lying and laughs at the situation. So we'll fast forward a little bit, unless there's anything that you needed to call out. But Amarantha offers a test.
Yep.
And my immediate thought here is that if we are past the expiration date on this fucking curse, why are we doing this?
She claims because she's bored, but that rings bullshit to me.
And that can be a thing. Like, that's a thing with villains.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just doing this because I'm bored. It could be a thing.
Maybe she's flexing for Tam. Like, I'm going to stunt on your girl.
Or maybe it's like she like needs to best her. I mean, maybe I'm looking into this more than I need to. Like, I just thought it was interesting. Like if this whole like 7 times 7, if the expiration date has been hit, like, why are we bothering with this? But yeah, so she offers her a test.
Right.
She says, complete 3 tasks to prove your love to Tamlin, and you can have him.
Or, this is the weirdest part to me. It's the or. It's like, there's also just this golden parachute of a riddle that you can completely ignore the task if you get this
at any
right.
time.
Yeah, at any time. Doesn't matter. The world is your oyster when it comes to this riddle.
It's so...
I mean, obviously that's gonna have to happen. Like, she's gonna fail a task at some point and have to come up with the riddle. Right?
It's just so... Yeah, of course. It's very weird to me, man. Like...
Yeah. That's a very odd condition of this whole thing.
Like, okay, if I'm Sarah J. Maas and I'm like, okay, I want her to have to do these 3 tasks, but because of the hero's journey, she's got to fail one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I need to give her an out.
Right.
This seems like a perfect reason to invent this fucking riddle. It's just a little corny to me, if I'm being honest. Like,
it's a little.
Or you can do a riddle. Like,
usually
you're not Paul Dano. Okay, that's not how this works.
It's a little too on the nose and obvious. Like, usually your out would be something that was, I feel like, set up way in the past. Or this is where, like, my theory of, like, Feyre's magic painting powers would come to save her in the 11th hour. Or, oh, she actually has Fey blood, and because of this, she can accomplish this. It would be something like that, where it's been subtle but set up previously. This is just so... Oh, by the way, here's your Chekhov's gun out.
It's like very like traditional, like just basic fucking villain.
Yeah.
Like, answer this riddle. You know, like
she's no Raphael.
I just pictured Jafar, like
Jafar.
Fucking like I don't know, man.
Curly beard, man.
Yeah, dude.
That's what makes him the best villain.
Very strange to me. So yeah, she offers this test. Complete 3 tasks to prove your love for Tamlin, and you can have him, or you can answer a riddle.
Yeah, or the
you only get 1 try.
Yeah, true.
Right? She says that, I think.
I think so.
I do like that Feyre counters.
Yes.
With specifics.
She tries to make sure there are no loopholes, that her bases are covered, basically.
And I just don't think she really did that, if I'm being honest.
She did her best. I appreciate that she tried, because to Alice's thing, like her rules of like, hey, don't make deals unless you have to. Like she has to. Like,
yeah,
there's no out of this for her in any other way. So at least she's trying to do her due diligence.
But like, I think she makes mention of this in a later chapter, but I had this thought immediately, was like, yeah, okay, if you can complete the tasks, you can go. But I was like, oh, go win.
The win is a big one. Yes,
win.
She missed
like
that
win,
one.
Will she?
Because what she did get was that they'll be free forever, and that like Amarantha will never bother them again. But the when is one. It's like, shit. I didn't specify when. Yeah.
This is like a Naruto scene right here, with just like the anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So she counters and she says, she has all these specifics. All the Spring Court would be able to leave safely and remain free forever. Feyre does.
Fuck. Well, I guess he's considered part of the Spring Court. I was like, is that going to mean like Lucian's going to get fucked at the end of this because he's technically Autumn Court?
He better go.
Yeah.
He better be free. Feyre does agree to the terms, and then
they just beat the shit out of him. It's so fun.
Amaranth is like, all right, guys, sicker. Fucking
all right, guys,
jump that bitch into the gang.
Yeah, like give her a warm welcome.
It's so fucked up.
It's so just no reason. Like
just like
Amaranth is being like so like, I'm bored. Let me give you this task. Let me be like a shitty bad guy, overconfident, and then just like, oh, but also kick her ass, boys.
Yeah, there's also I know, right? But and then also like the whole like countering terms. Like she doesn't counter any terms of like her stay.
No.
Like if you're on this and you're gonna, like she just says like what kind of tasks,
right?
And
I think Amarantha, she says like basic household labor or something like that.
Yeah, but she's like, I don't know. I just feel like you probably could have gotten her to agree to.
Yeah, listen,
not fucking making her life miserable.
Feyre is not like some tactical mastermind. She did her best.
Yeah. All right, cool. Kudos to her. Moving on, chapter 35. Yeah. So she wakes up in this prison cell and she's basically like, ow.
Yeah.
Ow. Fuck.
Ouch. Just beat to hell.
Yeah, her nose is broken for sure. And she is all kinds of fucked up.
Yep.
And who shows up other than our fucking boy?
Yeah.
Lucien.
Hell yeah, Lucien does.
He sees Feyre and has a quick little chat with her and is like, dude, you're a fucking idiot, but also fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
I feel like he's like a little like, I'm so fucking stoked that you're doing this. Because that's just how he is,
yes,
you know?
There is a part here where he's like, do you have any idea what Tam sacrificed to get you out and this and that? And Feyre is at some point just like, well, get the fuck over it, because I'm here now.
I'm here now.
And like, it doesn't matter. And he's like,
and he's like, true.
Yeah,
Here, let me fix your nose.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he sets her nose back, and like partially heals her.
Right. He has some of his power back from Amarantha.
And he basically says, I can't fully heal you, otherwise they would know.
Right.
Oh, and something we didn't mention from last chapter is that she has Jurian's eye set in her ring. Jurian is the person who basically betrayed her sister.
Right.
In the
and one of
war.
his bones around her neck also.
Right.
We get the backstory of like what happened.
Hey,
in the
I
fight.
have the riddle in this chapter. Did we misplace that?
No, I think it also is in this chapter.
Is that later in this
chapter? They bring her
okay.
back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're right. Yes. So we get the backstory of Jurian, and basically she has kept him an inch from death and then bound his soul. To this eye to torment him for eternity and make him watch basically the atrocities that she's going to do to humankind. That's cool shit. That's cool villain stuff.
This whole like backstory Lucien gives her is pretty baller. It says he tells her they wrecked an entire battlefield using their soldiers as shields until their forces were nearly all dead. Jurian had some kind of protection against her, but once they entered into single combat, it was basically over. She took weeks to torture and kill him, and she refused orders to march to the King of Hybern's aid. It cost him armies and the war. So she lost Hybern the war because she was too busy torturing Jurian. That is some next level shit. I love that little detail.
That's petty as fuck. I love that.
She refused to do anything until she'd finished Jurian's demise, Lucien says. And she basically made a promise that he would never die so long as Amarantha keeps that eye of his preserved through her magic. It's also pretty missed.
Something that I think is kind of interesting is that we learn like through this that the human army was able to go toe to toe with.
Yeah. No, I took that info out of this as well.
I know that we've gotten some breadcrumbs that like there were some fairies that fought on behalf of the humans, but you would still think it'd be a little one-sided.
Right.
So yeah, that was just interesting. Something I picked up on and I'm curious about.
It was more even than you would think, it seems like.
Right.
But yeah, Feyre is brought back before Amarantha. She wants to know her name. Feyre refuses for a while. And Amarantha brings Rhys up. And she's like, hey, is this the girl you saw at their mansion? And he's like, maybe. All humans.
Could be.
All humans look alike. They all suck. Who am I to say?
That's a little racist to say, Rhys.
Yeah, truly. Feyre is like, he's lying because he definitely recognized me before.
Right.
And then Amarantha has Rhys threaten the old Yugi mind crush on Lucien. And this makes Feyre tell her name.
I just, when I was going through this chapter, I think last batch, I had a thought, and I'm sure I talked to you about it. That
congratulations on your thought, by the way.
Right. Thanks. That there would be some weird like love triangle thing happening with Rhys.
Yeah, I think we did talk about that, if that was possible. Because she couldn't shut up about how he was the most beautiful man.
Beautiful
ever.
person. Yeah. And I just think like his demeanor with her was a little like playful and like curious almost.
Yeah.
And then seeing this these chapters, I was like,
yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, there's definitely something going on.
I think something's gonna go on.
Yes. This is Edgar. This is 100% the Edgar of this whole thing. Team Edgar over here.
Team Edgar.
By the way, I think it's hilarious that Lucian's brothers are super pissed at Feyre for telling her name, because they just wanted to see Lucian get mind crushed. I was like, these fucking bitches. Interesting little tidbit here, Zach. Amarantha says to Feyre, an old name from our earlier dialects. Well, Feyre, fucking knew this shit. Fucking knew it. Anyway,
I mean, this is written at like what grade level? You think this is?
Dude. This is big brain. This is a 5,000 IQ for me. Come on.
This is like when you were having these moments with the Harry Potter series, and I'm like, dude, this was literally written for children, Scott.
Speaking of Harry Potter, this like trial shit is so Goblet of Fire, by the way.
So Goblet of Fire. I love the way you said that.
So Goblet of Fire. She's gonna go in a lake next.
We're so 2008. You're so 2000 and late.
True. So this is where she gives the riddle. Solve this, Feyre, and you and your High Lord and all his court may meet. Oh wait, no. This is a direct quote here. She says immediately leave with my blessing. So I don't know where Feyre was thinking about.
Oh, no. The riddle is immediately leave.
Right. It's only if the tasks. Okay, so now for sure 100% the tasks are bullshit. Like,
yeah.
Why are you even trying, Feyre? Just think about the fucking riddle. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if you are indeed clever enough to deserve one of our kind. Here's the riddle. I did not put any thought into this, by the way. Did you? Did you try and solve it?
I put a little thought into it.
Okay.
You want me to read the riddle?
Yeah, go ahead. Hit me.
So the riddle is, there are those who seek me a lifetime, but never we meet. And those I kiss, but who trample me beneath ungrateful feet. At times I seem to favor the clever and the fair, but I bless all those who are brave enough to dare. By large, my ministrations are soft-handed and sweet, but scorned, I become a difficult beast to defeat. For though each of my strikes lands a powerful blow, when I kill, I do it slow. So I think this has got to be something like...
It's definitely like a
characteristic,
intangible thing. Yes.
Yeah, it's like glory
love.
or
it
loyalty
could be like
or
love
honor
or something. Is it love?
It could be love.
Same to fit. That kind of is fitting a lot of this criteria here. It's love. It's
scorned love.
Yeah, it's just love.
Difficult beast
when
to
I
defeat.
kill, I do it slow. Yeah, it's just love. There, solved it. Boom, done. At first, I thought it was like luck. I was like, "Is this like Lady Luck thing?"
I thought it was like glory or honor or loyalty or like something like that.
The only thought I put into it, I was like, "Okay, so this is obviously like a concept or some intangible thing."
Yeah, of course.
Like obviously. Yeah, Feyre thinks it's some disease. She's so stupid. This dummy. Let's see. Maybe it was a person. Yeah, Feyre is way off. So she thinks on the riddle in herself for days, and then they finally come to get her for the first trial. Did you have anything else from that chapter?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. So they put her in this mud maze, and they're like, hey, here's this shy halud. Go and hunt it. That's a little Dune joke for those Dune fans.
There's a pretty good metal band called Shy Halud.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, they're very good, very heavy.
Why did you say it like that? Very heavy.
Very good, very heavy. Well, because not all heavy bands are good and not all good bands are heavy, you know?
True, actually. No, it was just, I just talking about like the tone of your voice when you were like, very heavy.
Don't talk about the tone of my voice.
The worm is blind and like instantly loses her. So she has just all the time in the world to set up.
So it's the basilisk.
Does that happen to the basilisk?
Yeah, remember?
Oh no, my dude Fox, is it Fox? Fox the Phoenix?
Oh yeah,
Fox
Fox
has
does
to blind
take out
it,
his
right?
eyes.
Wait,
Yeah,
did I
no.
just remember a Harry Potter thing better than you?
No. It wasn't like it more uses its sense of like smell through its tongue to chase. Like it doesn't have good vision, but Fox blinding its eyes helped it. So that way, if Harry looks at the basilisk, he won't get petrified.
I forgot about that whole thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. My point was just that it loses her, and then she has like all the time in the world to fashion her little trap.
Dude, I know. And then it's just a scene out of Predator.
I'm so glad you called out the Predator thing. Because these fairies are so like, what is she doing? And Rhys is like, I saw Predator.
And Rhys is like, dude, Arnold Schwarzenegger taught her well, dude.
Dude, Arnold is my goat. This is Rhys talking. He's like, Arnold is my goat. You better fucking believe I've seen Predator.
And then he does the...
Yes, and then he's like, Feyre, get to the chopper, go!
Fuck, dude. It's so good.
Yeah, so Rhys is so into this. He loves it. He's big Team Feyre, by the way. I'm Team Edgar, he's Team Feyre. Which makes me think you're 100% right on
100%
what you were alluding to. She flips him off, by the way. At least I assume she flips him off. It says she makes an obscene gesture at him. Maybe they have different obscene gestures in this world. I don't know. But
it's like she does like a shocker.
She does like a No, he'd like that.
No, they don't know what that means, dude.
Oh, they just don't know what it means?
Yeah, they don't know what that means.
Oh, okay. I was going to say...
maybe Spock her?
Rhys would be way into that if Feyre gave him the shocker. He'd be like...
Yeah, he seems like a person who's in touch with,
he's into
what he's got going on down there.
What he's got? Well put, my guy. Well fucking put. I don't have much to say. It's just action. Like, she does this bone spike pit. Lucien saves her ass. That's my go. And she successfully lures it into the pit and kills it. And that's,
pretty much.
Did you have much else to say about this? Or
no, that's she... Wait, hold on. Is this... Yeah, this is during this chapter. Sorry, I was just making sure I had the right spot. She does think that she saw a bit of triumph flash across Tamlin's face.
Yeah.
Which I think leans more towards what you said earlier, that he's just trying to like maybe keep it cool.
Yeah, but I feel like that time has passed also. Like, what? You're not saving her from anything now, my guy.
It's like he's method acting, dude. Like, it's like, okay, dude, you can drop the bit, guy. 3 years from now,
they're like, Mr. Daniel Day-Lewis, please, we wrapped filming 6 years ago. You can stop,
dude. Please stop.
And then Rhys is like, let's go watch Terminator. Arnold's my guy. Speaking of Rhys, he is the only one to bet on her to survive, by the way, which is
fried eggs over rice over here.
Fried eggs over rice. She fucked up her arm in the trial. This is chapter 37, by the way.
Yeah.
She dived onto one of her spikes, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And she's basically dying in her cell. Infection, fever, the whole 9 yards.
I feel like it's several days past and the piece of bone is still in her arm.
Yeah, she says that. And I'm like,
what?
Her ass does not know. How did she survive in the woods? You got to get that shit out.
Dude,
like, holy shit.
Fucked. She does say,
unless, did it just mean like
bleeding.
She broke her arm?
No, because she's poisoned. It was definitely the bone spike.
Okay. Yeah, because it was a bunch of worm shit she was crawling around in, so that can't be good for you. I assume. I don't know. I don't know how worm shit works. Yeah, she's got all the bad stuff. She's super infected. She's hungry, fever. She's
like trying to convince herself. She's like, I'm just getting a cold. Like this, I'm not.
I love.
I'm not
that.
infected.
Yeah.
She's like, nah, dude. I'm just total, just normal, common cold.
This isn't a fever. You have a fever. This is just a cold. But yeah, fried eggs, and Rhys comes and offers to heal her. And this is what he says. I'll make a trade with you. I'll heal your arm in exchange for you. I don't know why you think that he wants her, by the way. For 2 weeks every month. 2 weeks, that's half the month.
Yeah.
2 weeks of my choosing, you'll live with me at the night court, starting after this messy 3 trials business. She immediately is like, nah, I'd already made one fool's bargain. But he kind of convinces her by basically telling her, because the one hope she's holding on to is that Lucien will come and heal her again.
Yeah.
But he's like, that ain't happening. After he yelled out and saved you during the first trial, Tam had to beg Amarantha to spare his life, which she did, but only after she made Tam whip him.
Oh, so fucked.
Yeah, super fucked. She does everything in her power to refuse Rhys, but realizes that she's dying, and even if Lucien does come, he might be too late. So she decides she'll sell her soul for Tam's sake. Again, kind of what we were talking about earlier. I just don't think this relationship is super healthy. But she, to her credit, she does, even like in her delirious state, she manages to bargain it down to a week a month.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, wait. Before, so she first tells him to go to hell.
Right, for sure.
And he twists the bone in her arm.
I forgot about that.
What the fuck,
That is super
Rhys?
fucked. Yeah.
Bro.
I don't think he's a great guy. Did we mention that?
Like, is this guy trying to hit? Because that's not how it works.
I think he's still trying to hit, though.
I know. I'm just saying, bro, you gotta work on your game, my guy.
You got. Maybe he wants her to do it back to him. He's probably into that pain.
He likes them rug burns on his dick.
Oh God, don't talk about that. So good on her for bargaining it down to a week. Bad on her because she doesn't, like, unlike with Amarantha, she doesn't negotiate any other terms. It's like she gets it down to a week and there is no other terms discussed. And spoiler alert, now she's got a sick sleeve tat. She's got a whole sleeve.
Yeah. I have a theory on this tattoo also.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it. I don't have anything.
So I think that, like, the eye that's on her hand
is how
like
she'll shoot Kamehamehas later.
Yes, Masenko's.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Masenko.
I think that this is his way. Like, so she makes mention earlier that she can't help but feel like the eye is watching her.
Yes, she does mention that.
And I think that this is like his way of like making sure that she's okay. Like, he's going to be able to like know like if she's in danger or
interesting,
something like that.
Because there's a line here at the end of this that made me kind of rethink this whole thing. Because Rhys is talking about telling Tam about what's going on. And he tells her, I think I'll wait to tell him until the moment's right, though. The gleam in his eyes told me enough. Rhysand hadn't done any of this to save me, but rather to hurt Tamlin.
Mm-hmm.
So I still think you're right. I think he does care in his own way, you know, for Feyre. Like, he wants her to win because he wants to hit that or whatever it is. The love triangle aspect. But is he just trying to pass this off as, I'm actually doing this because I just want to fuck with Tamlin? Or is also that just part of it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a good call out. I don't know. Hey, doesn't the fucker from Jujutsu Kaisen have eyes on his hands?
Sure. Yeah, I think so. when he's like in demon mode or something.
Yeah, she's just what's his name? Goji Berry?
Gojo.
Gojo.
I don't think he's the one that has the eyes on his hands.
Oh, I don't know anything about that show. I've never watched it.
Yeah, I have, unfortunately, but let's not get into that. Let's not get
okay. All right,
let's not get me destroyed over my Jujutsu Kaisen takes. It's not very good. Anyway, the last chapter here, chapter 38. They give her so the guards start giving her these impossible tasks. They give her, hey, make this floor spotless, but you have dirty water.
It just seems like such a fucking stupid prank.
So stupid and petty. Also, the way she gets out of this, I don't know how to respond to this. Lucian's mother shows up and helps her by cleaning the water and is like, you saved my son's life.
So now here's some clean water.
My debt is paid.
She doesn't even clean the room for her.
Dude, like, Lucian's mom's kind of a dick. Dude. What the fuck, Lucian's mom? You think making water clean is equal to your son's life? That's fucked up.
Dude, it's so fucking funny,
so
dude.
fucked. When she first showed up, I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is Lucian's mom here to help her because she saw Feyre save her son's life. And she's like, abracadabra, clean water. My debt is paid. Peace. I'm fucking out. And I'm like, what the shit?
I'm so glad you called that out, dude.
I was so taken aback by this. It's fucked.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
So then she is
lentils. Yeah.
Tasked with separating lentils from ash. Is this a thing?
I don't know what this means. Lentils are like those little like pea things, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean a lentil is a bean,
type of
right?
bean. Yeah.
Like a clithia. It's a type of bean. Gotta flick the lentil, you know?
God fucking damn it. It's a type of bean. It's too late. I'm so tired. Don't do that. Don't fucking. It's a type of bean.
Okay.
Oh, this is Rhys's room, by the way. That she's flicking beans
so
in.
She's just flicking her bean in Rhys's room. Flicking that clithia.
I hate that name so much.
So Rhys walks in and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing in my room?" And she says, they said I had to clean the lentils out of your fireplace or you'd fucking kill me or something. And he's like, oh, okay, did they say that? What?
They said what now?
He checks his calendar and he's like, that was not on my schedule today.
Let's see. Feyre alive? No, I don't see it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so Rhysand explains that so Feyre's like, hey, why'd you lie for me?
Yeah.
And he's like, listen, Amarantha has her games, and I have my own. Like, I'm my own person. And then he also explains that I'm jumping around here a little bit, so if you want to stop me, you can stop me. He also explains that all of the High Lords can shapeshift into a beast.
Yeah.
And she's like, show me yours and I'll show you mine.
Show me yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it. Show me.
And he doesn't actually say specifically what he turns into. It just says like he has like leathery wings like a bat.
Yeah, he's some kind of vampire bat.
And has like
talons. Yeah.
Talons. Yeah. So he's a vampire or something. He's a harpy.
Yeah, he's a harpy pet dragon.
A harpy pet dragon, huh?
Yeah, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
A harpy pet dragon?
Harpy's pet dragon
Oh.
is a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
What? I don't remember that card. I'm looking it up.
I've lost the plot. I'm being a random Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I've completely lost it.
Oh shit. Look at this. 1999. Harpy's pet dragon.
Yeah, my dude.
Interesting. I'll have to put a picture of this on the episode.
I don't think it's that important, but okay.
No, yeah, dude. The listeners and watchers need to know, honestly.
There is a great line in here from Rhys that I want to call out, because like they're having their little back and forth banter, and she says to him, "Is this clean enough for you?" And he just says, "Why were the lentils in my fireplace to begin with?" I love that so much, because she's like, I don't know, Amarantha and her cronies are fucking with me.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, cool. That's hilarious. I love that. Anyway, go ahead.
So he helps her out, and she basically asks him,
why did you lie for me?
Yeah, why'd you lie for me?
Yeah.
He talks about how if she has her games, I have mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's kind of like, so do you know the answer to this riddle?
So smooth, Feyre.
Dude.
So fucking smooth. Just buttery.
He does explain that we've all been forbidden to tell you the answer.
Yeah. She's like, Amarantha didn't say nobody couldn't help me. And he's like, no, after they beat the shit out of you, actually, she did. She was like, hey, none of you fuckers tell her anything.
What, you know what's really funny about that is like, I imagine that this is this is a riddle that she's told everybody.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hey, can you get this? And so everybody knows the answer.
This is like, you know, that there's like certain people have that one joke that they're
card
like,
trick or that one joke.
Yes.
Yes.
This is her riddle, her pet riddle for sure.
Yes, dude. And she's like, hey,
100%.
you all better not fucking tell her the answer.
Yeah. I know you fuckers know. I told you last masquerade.
Yeah, so that's funny to me, and I think that that's just comedy. Actually, it's just great.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What I find strange is that she forbids them from telling her the answer, but clearly she didn't forbid people from helping her.
Yeah.
How does that work? Like, how does
Maybe
she not
just
think of
thinks
that?
they're all too scared to like, well.
So she's got a hubris. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. He kind of makes allusions to the fact that maybe he is not as fully under her control as she would like to think, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be part of it. Because he, like you said, he says Amarantha plays her games, I play mine. It gets rather boring down here.
A lot with the boring thing.
Yeah. Well, they do live for a long time.
Fair.
She asks him how he still has power if Amarantha took it, and he says this is just the scraps of his former power, which is pretty terrifying. He tells her specifically Tam has shape-shifting and brute strength, but he has a far deadlier arsenal. And this is when Feyre realizes, like, I just made a fucking deal with the devil. I am so
with
fucked.
A hot ass devil.
Yes, but he did give me this sick tattoo, so. And then he tells her, I can't decide whether I should consider you admirable or very stupid for being so bold with a High Lord. I think that's when she just asks him, like, hey, can you tell me what this riddle is, by the way?
Yeah. He then magically cleans her and completes the task for her. And he's like, here's a gift for having the balls to ask.
Yes. And then the guards come back and he's like, stop fucking with her or I will fuck your shit up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, he actually orders it. So
yeah,
what I thought
does.
was even cooler, He orders them to take her back to the cell, leave her alone, make sure there's no more household chores or tasks. And if they even enter her chamber or her cell, they are ordered to gut themselves.
How's she gonna eat? Look on your face. You were like, well, I didn't think of that.
I don't think he did either. So
poor girl's gonna starve.
That is the end of chapter 38. There was a lot in this batch and kind of brought me back in because I was a little down on it last week. I do think that there are likely going to be some areas, and we're seeing a couple of them already, where it's a little messy, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little thrown together. Not trying to take shots here, but it just seems like maybe a little like, hey, let's just get there.
I love the hand wavy stuff. Like, unholy book, potion, fuck it.
Nah, dude, I ain't about that. I want...
No, I'm partially kidding. I can tolerate it to an extent, and I'm not mad about this one in particular. I was just like, I didn't notice it where I'm like, that seems a little too simplified. And hey, maybe we'll get much more in-depth down the line, you know?
Right.
That's a possibility. Yeah, clean that off. Nice job.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we do our courting?
No, I think we've flushed them out. I'm back roped into like enjoying the lore.
Mm-hmm.
And like I didn't dislike the challenge thing or their interactions under the mountain. They were just like fine, but the Nesta interaction that was pretty hard. That was the moment for me of this batch.
I am enjoying the interactions, especially between Nesta and Feyre. Alice and Feyre, that was mainly a lore dump thing, but now Rhys and Feyre. And like that is what is keeping me going and interested and invested, is kind of the dynamics between those characters and Feyre. The lore has been fine and enjoyable. The tasks so far fine. But it's specifically, like I said, those character dynamics that are truly keeping me like zoned in right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not really interested in the tasks. Like, I don't really care about that element of the story.
I think, again, a big part of that is just like, I feel so strongly it's not going to matter. The tasks are not going to matter.
She's going to complete the second one.
You cannot give
and then in the third one, she's going to fail.
Yeah. You can't bring up that riddle. It's like I said, it's too blatantly obvious. Yeah. Of like, oh, here's your Chekhov's gun. There's this golden parachute riddle.
It just lowers the stakes. Yes. I feel like
that's the thing. It's like the tasks have no stakes now. The stakes were immediately undercut.
Like the tasks are filler episodes now.
Like, yeah, kind of are.
Like,
yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not upset about it. It's just like the story aspect is not the most riveting thing. The best things to come out of this batch of chapters were her interactions with Nesta, her interactions with Rhysand and Lucien are also great. I did really like the lore dump because it did kind of give us some clarity on a lot of things we had been speculating. I love a good dump on my chest. But yeah, I mean, otherwise the actual like events I think are just maybe missing for me a little bit. It's more just the interactions, the character interactions that I think are carrying for me right now.
I think we're in agreement. All right, it's time for Who Be Courtin'.
Hey-o.
Oh boy, where we last left off. Was this where I don't remember any of this. Rhysand had taken this top spot, followed by Lucien, followed by Feyre at third, Tamlin at fourth, and Nesta at fifth. Okay, so I have two strong contenders for first place. Let me get rid of these. I want to know where your head's at, Zach. Who were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think my contenders for first are either Nesta or Feyre.
Oh, okay.
Rhysand's up there. Lucian's also up there.
Yeah.
But
No,
I mean, we
what shot in
can't-
hell Tam makes this list. Tam didn't do shit this
No.
week. I think our 5 are pretty easy. It's just going to be the placements. I think it's Feyre.
Oh, no, I mean,
or
do
you
we
just wanna
consider Amarantha?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. No. Definitely. I forgot about her.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's. Okay. I think it's for sure first place for me is either Nesta or Rhys. You said Nesta or Feyre.
Feyre.
So we go Nesta.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
Nesta was kind of goated this episode.
She really was.
Okay. Nesta at first. I loved her interactions in her chapters.
And I'm just so like, there's not a character so far that I'm like, just give me more time with him.
Yes. Straight
and
up.
it's been Nesta.
For sure. Do you go Feyre second then? I mean, she did complete that task, but I
think
found
that
Rhys a little
she
more
showed
interesting.
like enormous resiliency and like determination.
No, sure.
I was pretty impressed by that. I mean, it's been a staple of her character makeup for a while now, but like, she triumphed very well, I think. So, well, what the hell?
It's fixed, I swear. No, I don't think you're wrong.
But she is a little stale to me.
She's
though.
a little stale. She did a few dum-dums by not working out her deals very well.
Give me your argument for Rhys.
I just think
top spot.
he is playing everyone, including Amarantha, to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also just fun and interesting despite being
I think
massive
that's a good angle.
piece of shit whenever he's present in the story.
I'm good with Rhysand being at second.
Let's go Rhys. It's too long. I'm shortening it to Rhys. I don't want to resize that box. Then I think for sure Feyre goes third.
Okay. And then
it's
Lucien or Amarantha.
Yeah.
And I think Amarantha just, unfortunately...
Are we underselling Amarantha? Should she be higher? No, because, like, she's being dumb, shitty, bad guy.
Yeah.
Let me give you these tasks.
Like why
maybe
isn't she
there's
just
more
killing Feyre?
Right. Maybe there's more to that. Maybe that's the loophole that Alice couldn't talk about or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, I don't think I think she... You think she goes fourth?
I think she goes fourth.
I think you're right.
Is that how you spell Amarantha?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Positive?
No. Amarantha.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Fucking, I'm so good. Okay, then it's, for me, it's Lucien or Alice. Alice gave us the giant lore dump and she took Feyre to the mountain. But Lucien is also my goat. He is so cool. He saved her in the trial.
Well, yeah, he saves her in the trial. Is that the only thing he does?
We also find out he told Amarantha to eat shit when negotiating with her, which is awesome.
Okay.
Also, he's been such a good dude when his mom is kind of the worst.
I
don't know. I could go
the more
either way
I think
on them.
about Lucien, I'm like, he doesn't actually do anything here.
Well, he heals her. That's a big one.
Oh, you're right. He does heal her.
I said that.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
I like Alice a lot. I think Lucien does slightly more.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Do we want to have Amarantha on here at all, or is it Lucien and Alice?
I think it's unjust of us to if we don't put Amarantha.
I think you're probably right. All right, Lucien.
Yeah.
Okay, Lucien at fifth. That's my dude. Eat shit,
Loosh.
Amarantha. That's
my
so
boy
funny.
Loosh.
All right, that is a good list. I love how, like, the very first thing you said in the very first episode was, Nesta fucking sucks. She's such a bitch. And now here she is, first place.
Dude, hey, man.
In the 4th episode.
I call it like I see it.
I love
man.
it. No, listen,
I call it like I see it.
In fact.
And now she's fucking killing it, dude.
Let me make that box bigger. Nesta, loud and proud.
Put a little smiley face on there.
No, not going to do that. That is who be courting for this week. Nesta in first place, Rhys in second, Feyre in third, Amarantha in fourth, and Lucien in fifth. And that's going to do it. Zach, get me the fuck out of here.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, listening, commenting, subscribing, all the things. We already did the plugs. I'm not going to bore you guys with all the plugs. If you guys want to support us, you know where to do it, and it means a lot. And if you don't want to do that, thank you guys for watching and listening here to the end. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
So anyway, Harpy's Pet Dragon was a card that Mai used in the show.
Did you ever own Harpy's Pet Dragon?
I don't think well, I think at some point they released a structure deck for Mai. They had like the character from the show structure decks.
Is Mai... No, that's Joey. Which one's Mai?
Mai is the girl. Mai is like Joey's rival girl, the blonde, big boobed girl.
Okay, it's any anime woman.
No, but she has, like, look up Mai. No, like, trust me, though. Mai Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, she wears a corset that just shows off her boobs all the time.
They're not that big.
Well, I guess you're right. By anime standards, they're not that big.
They're really not that big.
This was like early anime times before we had a lot of anime in the States, and they were big for like what I had seen so far. And again, I'm still recording. Dude, I was 11 in 1999. I would like to point out.
They were big for what I had seen.
They were big for what I had seen at 11.
Oh my god, you are a fucking dipshit, dude.
Oh shit.
Holy fuck. Oh that's God. Really good, dude.
Oh, I have to go to bed.
Oh, okay. All right, you fucker.
Oh my God.